11th Parliament of Uganda, where we are yet to see a new speaker, and of course we've had quite a number of people express their interest to make sure that they take on this race. Now NRM, of course, as a party, has already fronted their candidate, and that is the current Deputy Speaker of Parliament, and of course that is Anita Among, who will be raising the flagship for this party, and she was able to beat 10 other candidates to be able to get this position. Well, we are yet to see the final say, because by tomorrow we'll be having the final Speaker of Parliament, and of course, you know, that brings light and also gives us progress that the barrier arrangements will be put into play when it comes to the final resting of the fallen Honorable Jacob Olanya, because we know nothing can happen right now if we don't have the Speaker of Parliament. Well, good morning, Robert.
Good morning, Philo, and of course with that rich background of what happened yesterday, and of course what you expect to shape some of the activities of the day, because today we know that is the NRM Parliamentary Caucus will be meeting after we saw the Central Executive Committee yesterday recommend, that is the current Deputy Speaker of Parliament, to the NRM as their candidate for the speakership race come the 11th Parliament. So there's so much that happened that is also going to shape today,
yes.
And of course will continue to flow in Friday. So you mentioned another interesting bit of it, that is the reshuffle of the RDCs and RCCs.
Yes.
Well, I was watching so much on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and many. And well, when it comes to Kampala,
you know, after seeing this, I really started questioning loyalty of Ugandans. But, well, maybe I need to find out from Mollen. Good morning.
Yes, a very good morning to you, Philomena. And of course, I want to extend the same good morning to our family. Good morning, Uganda. Thank you for waking up with us. But when you look at, I was listening to what Tangodoy was actually mentioning about how SEC got to the decision of getting Anita,
yes,
that flagship. You see that all the points he actually hinted on were really concurrent with what has been there, because obviously she did take on the seat to deputize the late speaker earlier on, and so she has acquired enough experience. And not to mention that in the history of speakership, we have seen over time that it has been the deputy speakers who actually always rise up, yes, to the seat. So it's no wonder that SEC decided to give her the flag. But obviously, we are now leaving it up to the NRM caucus to see what comes up even for today. And it will be interesting actually to see the turn of how NRM is handling this. But also, if you ask me, on Robert saying about Uganda to Muliba.
Yes, they're not easy.
I mean, taking Hudu to Yumbe,
yes,
in all places. And you know, it was interesting to see that he went back on his statement, because he was like, yeah, I never said anything about preachers in Kampala. then it was just after the clip where he was like, I don't want preachers on the streets. In another second, he's like, I never said anything. So maybe do we have to say, maybe these guys kept praying for him to be taken away?
Somebody said that the vendors were lamenting, they were languishing, and they prayed to their gods. Whoever God they were praying to, clearly the prayers were answered. But again, it makes me question the decisions that had already been made by Hudu Hussein. Are they going to be reversed just because he's no longer the RCC of Kampala?
Well, very interesting on this. We must understand, I think for us where I come from, where I've grown up in Uganda, they say the decisions we hear where Hudu came out very, very vividly were not Hudu's initiatives. These were policies. Vendors off the streets has never been an initiative of Hudu Hussein.
Yes.
You know, but I think he owned even, and he sacrificed his head for the bullet, where he would even have held a bit, because most of these communications he made, that is why you used to say the Asrukwago, challenging him that in which authority as the presidential representative in Kampala, because he has spokesperson, there are so many people that can communicate, but I don't know why he always chose to put himself in harm's way in some of these policies that he knows. But also one thing that Kampala, I've followed a number of RDCs and RCCs. When you leave Kampala, you're heading for search. Alice Mwanguzi, Farida Mayanja, Hudu Hussein. Mention, I've not seen an RDC who leaves the main RCC, leave alone the deputies. Like Chirabira Rose, you leave Kampala Central, then they'll take you to Entebbe. Like this one of Rubaga, where you leave Nakawa, and they take you Burora, and they take you to Rubaga. But if you're the main RCC, leave alone deputies.
Yes.
Once you get to Kampala, it is the epitome. The next destination usually has been go very far.
But I think in that whole history of going very far, Voodoo has gone very far if we're talking about Yumbe. Because I did see, they moved like someone, we can talk about, you know, far places or villages, like moving from Kawempe to Chiboga. That seems reasonable, but that is far. What? And another thing also, I think that Robert did bring out a good point of whether he really put an initiative, you know, on someone's orders. But I do think if you look at the fact that the Lord Mayor was against his decisions, the MP for Kampala was against his decisions, so it makes me question, where did he get all that initiative to just move forward the agenda of wanting, you know, street vendors off the street, preachers off the street, without a strategy? Because one of the things he was talking about is let these street vendors go back to you know, the provided markets.
Yes.
But we also have to consider that these are not enough and they're expensive for them to go there. So if you're talking about a smart city, have a strategy, have a plan on moving these vendors towards a certain place, but not just for you, just because you're RCC, you just come up with, you know, this is what we want in the name of we want a smart city, but without a strategy.
Well,
so I think that is what has gotten me bizarre about this whole issue.
really want to believe that even the works that he had already in the pipeline, probably there's someone who is going to come through and make sure that he pushes them, he or she push, or actually he was replaced by a she's going to push them to till the end, because like Robert said, these are policies, these are not individual decisions that he woke up just one random day and decided that maybe we don't need the vendors on the Kampala streets, or we don't need hawkers. This could have been a decision or a policy that was made by quite a group of people. So yes, despite the fact that he has left Kampala and he has moved on to Yumbe, well, definitely there are other people who are going to be able to push all these agendas until they are fully done. So if you are celebrating because you probably think that you're going to go back to what you are doing, well, I don't know, but the news that I have for you may not exactly excite you this morning. So, but you'll be fine. You'll get along with it. You'll get a hang of it.
And maybe the good administration skills, you know? They could have seen that, yes, this is an iron hand man, he will take a bullet on behalf of others.
He's extending the wings to Yumbe.
These good administrative skills to other parts of the country, because I've seen a chain of events, these reshuffles where they go. Maybe because Kampala is the capital city, they have had that exposure. Maybe it is selected that you go to these far areas and also extend these good administrative skills, development to these areas.
What is he going to do in Yumbe?
All
his skills of smart city. Where is the city in Yumbe? That's not because
but we now have
no
many cities. Mollen, we have cities.
You cannot compare Kampala, and just because, you know, he has been doing well, maybe they are taking him there to do the same. No way.
Mollen refuses to believe that this could have been done actually with
because
good
reshuffles are normal.
They are made, they're done. Anyway, it's about the time we also take a look at some of the stories that did make the local scene, but also internationally. And of course, we'll be starting off with you, Robert.
Very interesting, but also to remember that reshuffles are normal, and even when you get your appointment later, RDC, His Excellency, has the right to transfer you anytime.
Absolutely.
And in any part of this country. So this is a normality. That is why he made a reshuffle of a number of them. But going to our local stories, and we'll be kicking off with the news yesterday regarding the Speakership Race, where following the endorsement of the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Anita Annette Amongi, as NRM flag bearer for the Speakership, the position of the Speaker will, for the position of the Deputy Speaker will now fall vacant. The Vice Chairman of the NRM Western Region, Dr. Chris Bariomonsi, said the NRM Central Executive Committee did not discuss the position of the Deputy Speaker.
In another story, Museveni reshuffles RDCs. President Museveni has reshuffled resident district commissioners and their deputies. According to the reshuffle, the controversial Kampala RCC Hudu Hussein has been sent to Yumbe district. He was replaced by Amina Lukanga. His transfer comes a few days after he ordered street preachers to vacate the streets of Kampala in 1 week. According to the list, Mpimba's Hashka Samuel has been transferred from Bale to Buko. Nyonyintono has been transferred from Kapelbong to Nabitulak, among others notable transfers. Meanwhile, President Museveni in the transfers dropped Nakaseke District RDC Fred Bamwine. President Museveni effected the transfers and appointments of RDCs and their deputies in accordance to Article 99(1) and Article 2031 of the Constitution of Uganda.
And now moving to security, the joint security forces of UPDF and police in Karamoje sub-region are investigating circumstances under which 3 geologists and 2 UPDF soldiers were shot dead by suspected armed Karamojong warriors in Kololisoli, Rupa Sub-County, Moroto District. The 3rd Division Commander Brigadier General James Balikudembe said they were murdered in the wee hours of Tuesday while mapping mineral exercise.
Heading over to church, religious leaders of all sects in northern Uganda have on Wednesday visited the home of the fallen Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Olanya, to condole with the family. Led by the Archbishop of Gulu, Baptist Odama, and the Bishop of Diocese of Lango, Alfred Ora, the men of God say the fallen speaker played a key role in building unity among the people of northern Uganda.
From the international news this morning, the United States has determined that Russian forces committed war crimes in Ukraine. More than 4,500 people were evacuated from Ukrainian cities on Wednesday through humanitarian corridors, according to a Ukrainian official. Russia says it will expel U.S. diplomats in a tit-for-tat move, according to the state media TASS, which did report. Now, the U.S. President Joe Biden has landed in Brussels ahead of the NATO, G7 and EU summits. He's expected to unveil further sanctions against Russia while on a European trip. The first shipment from an $800 million US arms package of Ukraine will be sent this week, a senior U.S. defense official has revealed. The UK Ministry of Defense says there is a realistic possibility of demoralized Russian troops being encircled near Kyiv. And Jens Stoltenberg says 4 new battle groups will be sent to Slovakia, Hungary, Bulgaria and Romania. Russian bombardment of the southern port of Mariupol grinds on, with some 100,000 people said to be trapped there. And still on, Chelsea will be allowed to sell tickets to away games, cup matches and fixtures involving the women's team after the UK government made alterations to the club's special license. The club have been unable to sell tickets since owner Roman Abramovich was sanctioned by the government as part of its response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Under the changed license, proceeds from ticket sales will go directly to the Premier League and then be distributed to the relevant party. The move means Chelsea will be able to sell tickets for their home Champions League quarter-final against Real Madrid on 6th April and the FA Cup semi-final at Wembley Stadium on the weekend of 16th April against Crystal Palace. Away fans can buy tickets for Premier League games at Stamford Bridge, with revenue going to the Premier League. And Chelsea's next Women's Super League game is on the 3rd of April at Kingsmeadow against Reading. Chelsea have requested that any money generated by ticket sales, which the club would have usually received, be donated to victims of the war in Ukraine, and the Premier League said that beneficiary charities will be announced in due course after consultation with the club. And switching back here to Nigeria, well, a Dutch court has thrown out a suit against Shell brought by 4 widows of activists who were executed by late Nigerian military leader Sani Abacha in 1995 after protests against the company's exploitation of the oil-rich Niger Delta. The court said there was not enough evidence to support the widows' claim that Shell had been involved in bribing witnesses related to the case. In 2019, the court had handed the widows a rare win in their long-running battle by allowing the case to continue. But it had also said the claimants needed to prove Shell's liability. Shell has always denied wrongdoing. Esther Kyobel, whose husband, Barinem Kyobel, was among those executed, said she would file an appeal at The Hague. We cannot do it in Nigeria because they, the government, are the collaborators, she said. I want their activists' names exonerated. That's what I want, and that's what I am fighting for. The lawyer for the widows, Chana Smakden, said the others were also considering filing an appeal.
Weather and climate news. Extreme weather warning systems for all in 5 years. Now, early warning systems to protect the entire world from extreme weather and climate disasters should be put in place within 5 years, according to the UN. Right now, around 1/3 of the global population has no cover, while in Africa, 60% of the population is unprotected. The World Meteorological Organization will put together a plan on how this can be achieved by November. Around $1.5 billion will be needed to finance the development, and over the past 50 years, a weather, climate and water-related disaster has occurred on average every day. As the world warms, these weather-related extreme events are on the increase, going up 5-fold over the past half-century. But better warning systems have ensured that the number of people killed in these floods and storms have fallen significantly in the same period. However, the scale of improvement depends very much on where you live.
Well, amidst all this, we cannot also fail to mention that the Dubai Expo 2020 ICT Innovation Week is actually going on. And of course, Uganda, as we all know, has set out to actually market herself as Africa's innovation powerhouse at this ongoing Dubai Expo 2020. We'll definitely be giving you what's happening, and we'll have somebody out there telling us what's happening, how is Uganda positioning itself, and how is it actually going? What does it look like for Uganda when it comes to setting these goals that it has indeed put upon herself, and what does it look like? What does this climate look like for us? Are we going to actually achieve it? Which I highly believe that we have all the capacity to do that. Speaking of innovation, well, I know, Robert, that you're holding quite something that has been, creatively innovated right here in Uganda, and definitely has quite some good effects on us, as you always tell us. Please spread
Buy
the gospel.
Uganda, build Uganda. When you get these drinks, you purchase any of these drinks, you're supporting a Ugandan. You're supporting employment in Uganda. But that's not all. It's not only for economic benefits. It also has health benefits, because these boost your immune system. Hallelujah. Ginger tea, we all know what ginger does. And we remember when I had so many COVID cases in Uganda, one of the things that people were taking was ginger. Now we have also tamarind fruit drink. This one also greatly helps boost your immune system. At just 1,500, get yourself any of these bottles, or have a carton, have it home, and ensure it's your daily routine to consume or to take any of these products, because health is your #1 priority. So when it comes to boosting your immune system, it means you're going to have few cases or few visits to the doctor.
Well, I don't know if Mollen has actually tried out one of those too, because I have definitely tried out the ginger one, and I can say I love it.
I actually also love the ginger tea, but Robert has convinced me to try the tamarind. I think he's yet to convince me more on how I should try that one, but the ginger one is good, and I hear it also helps, especially when you have cough and it's just starting to develop, actually. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and considering that we're in such a rainy and cold season, all these ailments can break out, so grab yourself an Alleluia